really looking forward to the answer to this question. Is Notre Dame's 2025 class on par with past Marcus Freeman classes?
This is more of a discussion than like
Okay.
we just got to talk through this. On paper, it looks like it's a little bit behind. Notre Dame right now has the number 14 class in the country compared to in the 2024 cycle, it was 11 and 2023 was 10. If you even want to go back to the 2022 class, that ended up being number 6. But I will still contend that 2022 class for Notre Dame, I would take the 2023 cycle over it. I think that the 2022 class, just the powers that I just think like A&M, Bama, Georgia assigned such better classes than everyone else that it kind of muddied the waters, if that will. Like Notre Dame's class was ranked higher than it really should have been. But that's just kind of me putting on a tinfoil hat. But my thought about it is you have the blue chip ratio, right? Which is your percentage of signing 4 and 5 or having 4 and 5 stars committed. Notre Dame is at 57 in this 2025 class. They're at 57 in the 2024 class. Now the 2023 class, Darren, I think that was Freeman's first cycle, 78% blue chip ratio. Now, the 2022 class, I would still give him a lot of credit for, but just for the sake of this discussion, we can say 2023 class was his first full cycle as Notre Dame head coach. Look at the contributors in this class. Charles Jagasaw, Jeremiah Love, Drake Bowen, Christian Gray, Jaden Greathouse, Jaden Osbury, Boubacar Traore, Cooper Flanagan, Sullivan Absher, Adon Schuler, Sam Pendleton, KK Smith. I didn't name all the guys, but that's like half of the class right there. You're like, big time contributor to like, this guy is going to play for the Irish, from like Jeremiah Love to KK Smith. It's like, and really impressive class. 2024 and 2025 are pretty similar, in my opinion. This 2025 class, you got Will Black. He's the headliner. In 2024, the headliner, Gerby Lambert. More at the bottom of the class might be where there's a difference. It just seems like there's more lower ranked guys than in like before we started recording. I counted it. Notre Dame has it was like 11 top 250 players in the 2024 class. Meanwhile, in the 2025 recruiting class, it's 5. Although Antavius Richardson, it's ranked number 251 in the country right now, so we can call it 6. But I mean, just at the top, I mean, this 2025 cycle, I really think it's pretty much the same with 2024. You got the 5-star caliber offensive lineman Will Black, big time pass rusher Chris Burgess, Dallas Gold's an elite athlete, James Flanagan is an impressive tight end. You got a couple of outstanding defensive backs in Jadon Blair and Mark Zachary. Again, defensive back recruiting is just continuing to fly for Notre Dame. Dallas Golden, Jadon Blair, Mark Zachary. More offensive linemen. You got a big-time athlete, Antavius Richardson, who's going to come to Notre Dame as a wide receiver. It's just another really solid class. And 2024, I feel like is pretty similar. Maybe a little bit more star power at the top, but I mean, I feel like you're kind of splitting the hairs between the two. And the one thing I'll say about 2025, we're comparing an unfinished recruiting class in 25 that's ranked 14 right now, but you can land Meadows, you can land Madden Fremo, you can land Nathaniel Owusu-Boateng. There's guys out there. So it's an unfinished recruiting class that you're comparing to a finished one. I think that Notre Dame probably ends up finishing right around what they did in the 2024 cycle, right around number 11. But for me, the 2023 class was the best that Notre Dame signed. And 2024, I think, when you look at that one, it's all about Gerby, Kingston, and like CJ Carr, Bryce Young. I mean, Kedron. It was a really good class as well. But CJ Carr, if Notre Dame gets what they think they have at the quarterback position, he's going to be the biggest talking point from that cycle. And then in 25, I think Will Black is going to be a 3.5 year starter. Dallas Golden, Jadon Blair, Mark Zachary, absolute studs to continue Notre Dame becoming one of the best defensive back schools in the country. So, any follow-ups on that, Darren?
No, I'm just thinking a lot of household names in the 23 class. For the average fan that doesn't maybe know every player on the roster, there's just a lot of recognizable names that are a big part of this team that can make the college football playoff. That is great evaluation and great development to get them not only on the field quickly, but make them contributors on this football team.
Yeah, it was a huge, huge recruiting class. They did a tremendous job. And then into 2025, there's definitely more evaluation type guys. Prospects like Joseph Reef, Cameron Herron, Dominic Hulock, more local guys who are ranked lower, committed to Notre Dame. They started shooting up the rankings. So it's a really good class. I think like Elijah Burris, the son of Plexico Burris, wide receiver out in New Jersey, he's ranked a 3-star. I think his stock's going to continue to rise. Ko Okia from Hawaii, linebacker / pass rusher, 3-star prospect. I think he's going to trend up. So it's a Brandon Logan from Fort Wayne, Snyder, 3-star prospect. I bet you On3 ends up ranking him as a 4-star. So it's a really solid class. It might be like a hair under 2024, but the original question of if it's on par with the others, I think 2023 is the best, and I think 2024 and 5 are about the same.
Final question for you. I just want to get your thoughts on 2 young running backs as we kind of look back at some previous classes. But Aeneas Williams, I think Irish fans are starting to realize what he can become. And Kedron Young had a touchdown against Navy. Reflect on their recruitment and how important they are going to be to the Irish offense in the very near future.
Yeah, I'll talk about the recruitments real quick. Aeneas Williams is it was a fascinating one because his recruitment was pretty quiet, and then he just kind of blew up out of nowhere in the spring going into his. Would that have been senior season? I can't remember if it was senior or which year it was, but just blew up out of went from a couple of offers and then a few offers, and then the summer he goes to Notre Dame's camp, goes to Alabama's camp, has really great days at both, and he went from 5 offers to 40. It seemed like overnight. Dylan McCullough was what really got that one done for Notre Dame. Aeneas loved Notre Dame and everything, but just such a strong connection with Notre Dame's running backs coach. Missouri, the in-state school, tried to make a big push late, but it was too little too late. Notre Dame got to keep that one in. So it would talk about guys who look around after they're committed or recruited by other schools. Sometimes they do stick. Aeneas Williams definitely was one of those who did not entertain Missouri and others late. And then Kedron Young, Notre Dame identified him. They got him up on campus for an official visit in the June of 2023 and got it done. I mean, it was a pretty straightforward one. You had the Texas schools who were after him, but Notre Dame just wowed him and his family. And it was a pretty straightforward recruiting win. Notre Dame really getting, think back, 2 of their top 3 or 4 targets at the running back position. It was absolutely huge cycle for Notre Dame. Dylan McCullough and Lance Taylor before him, just revolutionizing what it had been. Think about Jafar Armstrong, before at the running back position. That's who you're kind of talking about. Tony Jones, a fine player, but to go from Jafar Armstrong to Tony Jones to Kyron Williams, to Jeremiah Love, and then Estimate, Jadarian Price, even Logan Diggs when he was here. Just we're talking totally different caliber, just like Notre Dame at the cornerback and even safety positions post Kyle Hamilton. There's completely different stratosphere. Aeneas Williams, I love that he's just got the coach's trust. 3rd down back, blocking, you can hand the ball a few times a game. You absolutely love him. And then Kedron Young's, I think, is Audric Estime 2.0. I really do. I feel like Kedron and Aeneas Williams are basically Audric Estime and Kyron Williams. They just have similar games. Dylan McCullough's, he's a tremendous evaluator. You got to give him his flowers because he's done a tremendous job as Notre Dame's running backs coach this past couple of years. I don't know how much longer he's going to be able to. Notre Dame's going to be able to keep him. Like we saw with Lance Taylor, who did a really good job with the Fighting Irish. then he gets an opportunity as Louisville's OC, and now he's the head coach over at Western Michigan. So Dylan McCullough is a highly, highly regarded coach. But the one thing with running backs coaches, Darren, it's harder for those guys to move up to become OCs compared to quarterbacks coaches. It just is. Those quarterbacks coaches are just easier to become OCs. Running backs coaches, sometimes you'll just go from a running backs coach to a head coach at a lower level. That happens sometimes. So we'll see with Deland, but the longer he stays at Notre Dame, the better it is for the Fighting Irish.
Mike, the world did not end when Will Shipley picked Clemson. Things have turned out just okay in that Irish running back room. All right, Mike, sales pitch, Blue and Gold Illustrated. Good time to join during the bye week.
Oh, it always is. So folks, head to blueandgold.com. We have all sorts of new offers happening. It seems like every few days, our advertising or our marketing team is letting me know. So here you go. You can get your first week for only $1 and 50% off your first year over at Blue and Gold. So that's the introductory offer, $1 for 7 days, followed by 50% off your first year. So go to blueandgold.com. Your promo code is join50. So again, blueandgold.com. Check it out for new subscribers.